child in me has just really went through the roof. And I'll tell you in a minute here. Hi, I'm Zane. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Madman with the Show. If you clicked on this video, you must be, a real fan of this, because, to hear that this is going to be happening. Now, let's start off with this. MeTV. If you're not familiar with the channel, it is a Chicago-based network that brings classic television series to the viewer on both cable and antenna. You're able to get this on an antenna. So that means if you don't have cable, you've cut the cable cords, you could still get this channel. You'll have to scan for it. It's different in each territory. I have it on Verizon channel 503 and channel 3 here in New York City. And there's some great stuff on there. And the best night is Saturday night, because we have, a lot of great science fiction, Star Trek, Buck Rogers, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and many others. And we also, if you're not familiar with the Svengoolie, that creature feature type of Svengoolie show airs on Saturday nights as well. We get that type of creature feature type. If you've never seen Svengoolie, it's a great show. It's still one of the most popular shows. That I happen to be on their fan Facebook account on there, and there are some great people who watch the show. Some fun. We get to talk about things about all Svengoolie, and we get to talk about the movies that's coming up, and it's a great program. And there are, like I said, there's a lot of great program also outside of it. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. You have the Andy Griffin Show. Many different diverse shows through the history of television. It is a great channel. If you haven't seen this channel, if you've gone by it, go on, spend some time with it. On the night that, if you don't have it, if pretty much there's not much on television these days. But we got this, and this is amazing. This is truly amazing. For a while, MeTV has been playing around. They've gotten the rights to the Flintstones, and from what I understand, the Flintstones has been doing very well. They've been putting it in prime time, and it's been doing pretty well in the early, just right at the hint of prime time, and it's done very well in that area. They're planning to expand it, and they've been testing it here and there. They've been doing an hour here, hour there, but it looks like, from one point of view, they're planning to bring back the Saturday morning cartoon line. And also, they're going to be doing a weekday in the mornings on there. And especially a lot of kids are, they're doing their things right before school. They'll be great. And the weekday one will have a host. And it is a radio personality by the name of Bill Leff, the affordable Chicago radio personality, stand-up comedian, improv actor, will host a national 1-hour weekly morning cartoon show on Me. This is bringing back the Bozo the Clown and all these other shows that were in the past. And remember, Chicago was the place for a lot of shows like that. Starting in early January, Tune In With Me will feature Leff and a few other characters performing original comedy sketches leading into the best of the Warner Brothers Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes animated classics, including Bugs, Daffy, Porky Pig, Tweety, and Roadrunner. For the eternal youth Leaf, a pop culture fan and collector, wide renowned, the role calls for a golden era of Chicago's television, including the legendary children's show hosted by Ray Rayner and Bill Jackson, among others. As a child, I was late for school every morning because I could not stop watching Ray Rayner shows, said Leff, who grew up in Oak Forest and now lives in Evanston. I felt they were talking directly to me, and then after school, the brilliance that was Bill Jackson's Cartoon Town was just so influential to who I would eventually become. Tune In With Me plays tribute to both. It's part of Ray Rayner's part Cartoon Town, part Pee-wee's Playhouse, which Please Playhouse was always very popular. Still is today. Part Sea Hunt, and it's something for everyone, he says. Until last November, left co-host Middays with Wendy Snyder on Nick Star Media Group. News Talk WGN 720 AM. Since February, the two have been podcasting for Cumulus Media College. Their twice weekly show will continue on WLSAM.com and iTunes. Tune In With Me is the latest creation of Neil Sabin, vice chairman of the Chicago-based Weagle broadcast and the genius behind MeTV, which Weagle debuted here in 2003. It's been full-fledged national network since 2010 and now ranks among the top 5 cable networks in the country with an audience of 27 million viewers this week. Shows you how popular the MeTV channel is. If you're pulling in those numbers on something that's, what we used to call back in the day UHF. I mean, you would consider this a UHF channel. It's spread out. There are issues in certain districts that basically the channels have been changing around, and people have been, and we hear it in the Facebook group. Like one channel may not be showing it because they may have replaced it with football or some local sports or local programming, which happens, and that happens on an occasion. And then others have removed the MeTV, and I know that they're trying to get those back in those areas. It's launching just after our 10th anniversary nationally and should really resonate with the boomers as well. Those who love classic cartoons, Sabin said it of the new morning show. I think its writing is great and will work on an adult and kid level, just like the Warner cartoons. I hope he's playing the classics, not the newer stuff. The newer stuff is okay, but it lacks. But I would assume they're playing the classic stuff because it is a classics channel, so it's probably a lot of the older programming. Sabam acknowledged that he created most of the characters and spirit of the new shows. We have a great team of writers and others on the show, he said. I'm making sure a few pies get thrown and puns fly as well. If you remember, pies getting thrown is on the Soupy Sales show. A lot of you may not be old enough to know those, but type in Soupy Sales in YouTube and check out some of his shows. He had some fun stuff. And type in Bozo the Clown too. Those were great shows as well. Some of them still do appear today on holiday specials. Also joining the cast of performers is Kevin Fleming, whose comedy writings include the Warner Brothers animated series, the new Looney Tunes, and Leah Gorshin, who has performed part of the Second City touring company and recently co-wrote and starring in a romantic parody film, Love Dump. Tune In With Me will invoke the hosting children's shows of decades past, blending nostalgia, fun, charming comedy and cartoons, reimagine new with original live action characters, and it adds up to a new program for viewers of all ages, ready to share fun, positive energy on the weekdays. Now, they announced they're going to be doing a show weekday, but they will also be doing a 3-hour block of cartoons on Saturday with no host. There will be no studio hosts for the Saturday. So we're getting back the weekday morning, and we're getting back the Saturday morning cartoons on a 3-hour block on Saturday mornings on MeTV. What does this go forward? MeTV, as I said before, 27 million weekly. If there's an increase, and I foresee this is probably going to happen, we could see other classic cartoons. We could get, a lot of the other stuff. Courageous Cat, Minute Mouse. If you haven't seen that, you could catch that on Amazon. Some of the other stuff, George of the Jungle, many others of that era. We could probably start getting the action stuff. They could probably end up getting Super Friends. They could end up getting Silverhawks, Thundercat, maybe some of the other big stuff from the 80s. There's a lot. There's so much. Sid and Marty Krofft shows, Land of the Lost, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. I mean, there is so much programming out there, just hanging out there, that's waiting for a new generation to see, a new generation of kids to watch. And it's great to see a channel, finally a channel that is listening to people out there and saying, we want this kind of programming. We want the Saturday morning. I mean, there's not a day I do not see a video talking about the Saturday morning cartoon runs and how it failed, it wasn't there. And now that we have Cartoon Network, you know, and Nickelodeon, stuff like that, you know, you're seeing the politics and the cheapness of these cartoons in that era from this point on here. And I think that's what's drawing away this generation of kids. I mean, there's a lot of them that are watching. There's like We Bare Bears and a couple of others. Steven Universe, that's still very popular. But you're starting to see a dip in the quality because they're looking for cheaper product. But also the viewership has to be dipping as well. Yeah, because there's stuff, you know, kids are smart these days. They know what they like. You know, they don't, you know, they're not people who care about whatever diversity check mark you're checking. They want to see some cartoons. That's what it is. It's cartoons. You don't need to put politics in it. And that's what was great about these. You know, understand, Warner Brothers had their political stuff on there, but they made it funny. They were able to make it funny and not draw sides on it. But this is what we want. This is what we're going to get. And let's say the inner child in me is geeking out. It's really geeking out. And I hope it does very well. So let me ask you in the comments below, what do you think of this? Do you think it'll be successful? Do you think it will fail? Do you think it'll expand? Or you just don't care? You love what's on Cartoon Network, what's on Nickelodeon, all these other channels that are out there. You're satisfied with that. Or, hey, are you old enough to remember these days and is totally geeking out like I am? So let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, hit that like, and share this video. As one cartoon character would say, I believe, that's all, folks.